Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with another Sprite variant to start off this season. But this, however, is a particularly special one. This is with a couple of minor exceptions, actually plucked straight from the Rating Duel Season 37 top 10 decks. I think this was 9th place, was actually this particular Sprite deck. So I decided to give it a spin, but I did also, kind of keeping in line with some of the more recent deck profiles I've done, want to keep it legal for the new ban list. I actually think my Runic Sprite deck had 3 Maxi in it. I kind of meant to cut it down to 2, but we're on 2 as well as 2 Nightmare Throne. Again, these cards are not at 2 just yet, but they will be in, what, like maybe 3-4 days? No, 3 days, yeah, at the time this video is going out. So, might as well just start playing with only 2, why not? But yeah, this is a kind of a variation of Tri-Spright. So the last iteration I showed off was much more focused on going into like actual Tri-Brigade stuff with Revolt and Shurag. But this is a build that does not utilize Revolt or Shurag. We're only using the like bare basic Tri-Brigade engine, one of each main deck monster, wherever... Oh yeah, Nerval, and then up here. The only Tri-Brigade extract monster is Ferrogy, but we do also have double Dragon Lords to go into as well. We do also have a little bit of the Fiend engine. Again, like I said before, we are on Nightmare Throne. So we have the Dark Beckoning Beast, and we're also playing Gruesome Graveswarmer, which I believe was in our last build as well. If you're wondering what this card is doing in here without any other like Fiend or U-Bell stuff, aside from the Beckoning Beast, well, it is to be used with the Beckoning Beast, because all it requires is not a U-Bell monster for the graveyard effect, but actually for both effects, you can special this from hand if you control a Fiend, and then you can banish this from graveyard to summon a Fiend with 0 attack or defense. So the idea, right, is that when you open with like Dark Beckoning Beast plus Nightmare Throne, or maybe something like Gates plus Nightmare Throne, rather than just having an extra dead Dark Beckoning Beast, you get like 2 extra bodies instead. Because you can, of course, like, you know, Gates for Beckoning Beast, then Nightmare Throne for Graveswarmer, Graveswarmer F to special summon itself, then later you can link off Graveswarmer for something like Elf or Sprint or something along those lines, and then you can later use the Graveswarmer effect to bring back Dark Beckoning Beast, on top of also having the Gates revive. So the Graveswarmer, like, it looks really out of place, but it actually is very good for this particular variant of Sprite deck. Yeah, I think moving forward, if I use the Dark Beckoning Beast Nightmare Throne engine in the Sprite deck, probably just going to try to make an effort to include Gruesome Graveswarmer moving forward. We are also on the Nimble package as well. We have the Angler, which searches exactly Beaver and Musasabi. These are, of course, also Tri-type cards, which help our Tri-Brigade stuff. Fualos, actually being a winged beast, is relevant in that regard too. Not only can you discard it to get an extra Tri-type in the graveyard, you can also discard it with Kairos to special summon it. So that's pretty cool. I will say, the combo lines in this Sprite variant are not that easy. In fact, you're gonna see me mess up a couple of times. This video is gonna be a lot of do as I say, not as I do. And when we go over the games, I'll be pointing out my own misplays so that you hopefully don't make the same ones that I did. It's all within setting up the turn 1 board too. Like there's a lot of different factors that you have to keep in mind, from where your link errors are going to end up pointing between all of your cards, down to the fact that if you use a Tri-Brigade effect, you can only use Beast, Beast Warrior, Wing Beast as link materials for the rest of the turn. You got to pay attention if you're too locked. Well, you actually don't really have to pay attention if you're too locked, because we don't really have anything that's not level, rank, or link to. Actually, the literally only non-rank or link to card in the extra deck is Almirage, which is kind of wild. Yeah, the build from Rating Duels wasn't on like Zeus or even, which I thought was a little surprising, but I just wanted to try it out, you know? I think one thing I need to do more often is just summoning Mannequin Cat and Djinn Buster. I'm not used to having these in my Sprite extra deck, so I never really go for them, especially Mannequin Cat. This card is a lot better than I probably think it is, but every time I think about something, I'm like, it just feels kind of mid. I don't know. But that feels like more of a skill issue on my part than this card actually being mid. Because I see it in enough Sprite lists from people who do exceptionally well with Sprite to know that it's probably me. So, All right. Why don't we go ahead and break this list down card by card, and then we will take a look at some of the games I have saved here. So we're on 1 Tri-Brigade Nerval, 1 Gruesome Gravescormer, 1 Nimble Musasabi, 2 Maxi, 1 Nimble Angler, 1 Nimble Beaver, 2 Dark Beckoning Beast, 1 Tri-Brigade Chaos. Excuse me. We got 1 Tri-Brigade Kit, 2 Sprite Blue, 2 Sprite Jet, 1 Sprite Red, 1 Sprite Carrot, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Tri-Brigade Fractal, 3 Mulch Army Fualos, 1 Foolish Burial, 2 Triple Tactics Talent, 2 Nightmare Throne, 2 Opening of the Spirit Gates, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 3 Sprite Starter, 1 Sprite Smashers, and then 3 Infinite Permanents. That's going to be our main deck. For the extra, we're on 1 number 65 Jin Buster, 1 number 29 Mannequin Cat, 2 Gigantic Sprite, 1 number 2 Ninja Shadow Mosquito, 1 Salmon Grey Almirage, 1 Nightmare Goblin, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Ancient Warrior's Oath, Double Dragon Lords, 1 Tri-Brigade Ferrigite, the Baron Blossom, 2 Sprite Elf, 1 Pit Knight Airly, 1 Sprite Sprind, and finally 1 SP Little Knight. That's going to do it for our list. Let's look at these games. Alright, we're going to start off with a couple of lab games. Ran into a lot of lab during this particular play session. I will admit this play session in particular wasn't very long, just like maybe 10 games, but still a decent amount of lab to see. Okay, so we're going first, and I'll show you how to mostly build a turn 1 board. You'll see what I mean in a sec. So here I'm going to start with starter for Jet, grabbing Smashers because I already used starter, and because I have blue in hand. So we're going to blue for red. I'm going to throw red on the board just to have it on there in case I need to really negate a hand trap, although I'd rather not get rid of my Sprind here, but if they do like Ash Blossom or Veiler, of course we will. Sprind is going to dump Angler. Angler summons our Nimble, Beaver, and Musasabi. We can then overlay Sprind and one of our Nimbles into the Gigantic Sprite. Okay, from here we're going to use Gigantic Sprite's effect, and I'm actually going to pull Tri-Brigade Kit out of the deck in order to go into our Tri-Brigade line, and also because we've already used Blue and Jet. Now we'll link off Gigantic and the Nimble Musasabi in order to go for our Sprite Elf. And we're going to link into IP Masquerena first. This is a really easy way to mess up, and actually the main way that I messed up in another duel we're going to see later. Because remember that Tri-Brigade Kit, once you activate one of these Tri-Brigade effects, you can only use Beast, Beast Warrior, and Wing Beast as link material for the rest of the turn. So I want to use red as material to make IP now before I'm locked out of being able to do so. We can then use Kit to send Nerval. Nerval F adds the Tri-Brigade Chaos. Now we'll activate Elf. Elf F will bring back the Kit. Kit F, banish 2 of our Nimble monsters, or Nerval, in order to summon Ferrigite. Ferrigite F summoned Chaos, but I summoned Chaos to the wrong zone. So I thought I was going to have to summon Chaos to this zone, so that way I could summon Double Dragon Lords to this zone that Ferrigite was pointing to. However, and here's the mistake I made, I didn't realize that I only had 1 Tri-type in the yard, so I would have to link off first into the Pit Knight Airly. So I should have put Chaos in this zone, so that way I could have activated Chaos effect and put Ancient Warrior's Oath Double Dragon Lords in this zone. Again, there's so much you have to keep in mind when even just doing the basic turn 1 plays for this deck. So we're just going to have to randomly not end... Oh my god. And then also... Don't mind me normal summoning Ash Blossom. I, again, forgot about the fact that I can't use Ash Blossom as a link material. My plan was to go into SP, but I was like, oh, right. So I'll just leave a random attack mode Ash Blossom on my field against Labyrinth. Why not? Yeah. Setting 4 cards from our opponent here. Okay, this is something I talked about in a recent video, and I want to go into a little bit more. The psychology of if your opponent has like a bunch of back row, and you want to snipe one of them, what's the best one to snipe? I think there is an actual answer to this. And it's to always pay attention to the order that your opponent sets stuff in. So I see they set here, then here, here, here. Now, as somebody who played decks like Hero Beat, Evil Swarm, and Straight Up Stun in the TCG before, I can tell you that once you start setting a lot of back rows a lot, you start to really think about it. And what I would always do is I would set a card I don't care about getting popped first, then set the card I do care about second, and then set another card that I don't care about last. Because in my experience, people will almost always pop either the first card, thinking that you think it's important, or the last card, thinking that you think they think that you think it's important, so that you're going to put the important card last, right? And then that way you hit that one. However, the real answer, in my opinion, is the second card they set. So we're going to do that. It's Trap Trick. I think that's a pretty good hit, honestly, especially once we see what the other cards are. All right, we're going to activate L for blue here. They're going to chain Max C. I am not using my Ash Blossom here because I'm very confident that it's Lab, so I would rather save the Ash Blossom for a welcome. We're going to activate Blue's effect in order to add Carrot. I will simply normal summon Carrot. They're going to activate Ice Dragon's Prison. Not as bad as Trap Trick, you know? And we'll just negate that with Sprite Carrot. Yeah, I'm just going to move to battle here, even though it's not an OTK. Because I'm not really confident in my ability to OTK them under Max C and multiple back row anyway. Then main phase 2 will go into SP Little Knight. I'm going to banish this one, because again, this was the first one they set, and following my logic, this is probably the least important card. Also note how they haven't used this card yet. And it's another Ice Dragon's Prison. So, I don't know, not to toot my own horn too much or anything, but I really feel like between, especially those last 3 cards that were set, Trap Trick was the most valuable one. So, I think it's always important to pay attention to that kind of a thing, even if it seems like it's not. Like, at the end of the day, it is random, sure, but like, I don't know, it might just be trying to find a pattern, but like, you might as well think about it. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Okay, so we're going to use Maxi. Again, I'm not using Ash Blossom because I am more scared of a Welcome Lab at this point than one draw off of Maxi. Ash Blossom against my Jet is completely fine. I don't care about that at all. Not using my red or Carrot here. Moving to battle once again. And Karma Cannon is going to get flipped up. We're going to use our Sprite Carrot for that, sacking off the Jet. And sure enough, here is a big Welcome Labyrinth. Very glad I've been holding on to this Ash Blossom all game. As you can see, my opponent's only got 1 card in hand right now, so I wasn't even that punished at all for letting those Max C's resolve. I mean, what are they going to draw off Max C? Trap cards they can't set? Like... And it actually ended up being the Simultaneous Equation Cannons was the first card. Now, you could debate how much this was like actually their, you know, worst card to set, but either way, of those 4 cards, Equation Cannons, Double Ice Dragon's Prison's Trap Trick, I think Trap Trick was the most important card that they had, so very glad that we sniped that. So what I could do here is actually really funny. I'm going to activate Little Knight, bounce out my red and Carrot, and then that'll completely throw off their math. They don't actually get to banish my field. How awesome is that? I wasn't even planning that. My thought process was, okay, I just bounce out red and Carrot, then they banish my board, then still in battle phase I can activate starter, starter F for like blue or Jet or whatever, and then during my end phase, red and Carrot come back. They only have 2 cards in hand. I can negate a monster and a spell trap. I should be good. But again, if we just throw off their math, that works too. So... Alright, that was quite a game. Hopefully I didn't sound too insane when I was talking about the psychology of targeting set cards, but I probably did. So why don't we just move on to the next game? We'll just go into our other Labyrinth game next, and then I'll save the, whatever we played against for the... I want to save that game for last anyway, because that was my bigger misplay. Okay, so this game was actually very interesting. We're going to hugely divert from the turn 1 combo line in a moment. So I'm going to lead with the starter again, going for blue F, to attempt to add Jet. They're going to activate Draglair, pitching itself and the Absolute King Backjack. So of course I immediately know off the bat it's Lab, and my triple attack is immediately live right off the bat. Okay, so I'm going to set big welcome with the Draglair. Before I use triple attack, I think I want to see what they set off of the Backjack, so I'm going to let them do that first. I mean, it's just going to be after the next action anyway, so... They end up setting Transaction Rollback. Now, Transaction Rollback's set effect is that it can only copy a card from my graveyard, so I don't feel threatened by this whatsoever. I am going to triple attack here, and I'm going to take a peek at their hand. Ariana, big welcome. So... This is one of those where, in hindsight, I kind of wish I would have drawn 2, but at the same time, I couldn't have known that. But this is also an instance where the knowledge that triple attack gives us is far more important than the hand rep itself. Since they have double Ariana, I'm going to put big welcome back, but they also have a big welcome set. However, what I'm going to do as I combo out throughout the rest of this turn 1 is rather than doing the normal turn 1 combo line, I'm going to do more of a combo that's good against this particular game state, right? Because I know their hand's double Ariana, I have Imperm Red, so I'm pretty confident in my ability to deal with those. I can go for the Sprite Sprint here, dump the Nimble Angler, get some more bodies online, Angler F for the Nimbles. Now we'll overlay for the Gigantic. This is pretty par for the course as to what you would normally do so far anyway. However, when I go to activate Gigantic's effect, rather than pulling out Kit, you'll notice I actually got Sprite Carrot. So I was thinking about it in the actual game, and I was like, you know, in this game state, right, where my opponent's got Big Welcome, Ariana, Transaction Rollback, do I really need to set up like Airly and Elf? Well, I mean Elf, yeah, sure, but like Airly and like double Dragon Lords off the kit, it's like bouncing face-up cards and negating monster effects. Is that really what I want to be doing when I can already negate monster effects, and bouncing cards, face-up cards especially, doesn't really do me any good here. If I could bounce any face-up card and bounce the set Big Welcome, I think I probably would have just done a standard setup here. However, what I end up doing is just going straight again for the Carrot, and then I'm going to Elf for Angler, and I'm not even going to make IP. I'm just going to go straight for Smashers, and I'm going to banish this Big Welcome now, while they are unable. Well, no, I do end up going for IP, that's right. But I'm not going to go for SP during my turn. I'm just going to go for Smashers and banish the face down Big Welcome. Now I'll go for IP, set Imperm. And again, I know what I'm dealing with here. It's Ariana, and then Transaction Rollback. I can Imperm the Ariana. Elf can bring back Carrot. I can go into SP. I'm looking really good here, honestly. Okay, so they're going to normal summon Ariana. I'm not only going to Imperm, but I'm also going to use Elf in the same Chain Link, because again, remember, Transaction Rollback copies normal trap cards from my graveyard. After this Chain Link, Imperm will be in the graveyard, so we got to be mindful of that. Of course, we're going to put the Carrot under the Elf protection for the same reason. Now I'll use IP as they're going to end the main phase. I'm going to bounce out this Carrot, because again, the only face down is Transaction Rollback. They can't use the Imperm on SP anyway, although they're going to try to do that here. Just end up negating the Elf. So this is my knowledge is so important. Knowledge of what's in your opponent's hand, and like just mapping out the game. Like that's really what the hand knowledge is so useful for. Once you know what's in your opponent's hand, you can like dictate the flow of the entire rest of the game. Now here, this face down card, unfortunately, I was not able to know what it was, and it was the Karma Cannon. So as I go for lethal here, I'm going to have to use Carrot on the Elf. I decided to go for straight up lethal here instead of going for a Gigantic first, because in case something like this happened, right? So we're going to normal summon Maxi, and I'm actually going to use this to go into the Gigantic rather than Carrot plus SP. Now they do get to use a Transaction Rollback effect here for the Karma Cannon. I really was trying to just bait this out more than anything else. I'm really not trying to deal with this on a follow-up turn. We're in a little bit of a precarious spot, though, because now we know our opponent's last card is Ariana, and we only have SP Call-By, which doesn't really do a ton here for stopping Ariana and potentially even whatever she grabs, right? Which is going to be Arias. Now, Arias is going to activate. Of course, I can't just chain Call-By here, otherwise Arias would come back. And, of course, their top deck card was Big Welcome, so they get to go ahead and activate that. We're going to activate SP, use it on herself and Ariana. Now I'm going to Call-By the Arias. Basically, I don't want my opponent to be able to just summon Lovely, bounce Ariana here. That would be very devastating. Instead, we're going to banish, and then now they have to go for the Lady Lab, so that way they can special summon Lady Lab off her effect. They get to add back Shan to Dragolier, but that's fine with only itself in hand. I don't really care too much about that. Alright, end phase. I bring back SP, they bring back Ariana. They're only at 700 life points. Top deck Ash Blossom doesn't look good, but I'm actually just going to normal summon it. I just needed anything I could summon here. Literally anything. Normal summon Ash Blossom, link it off the Gigantic, going into Elf. Now, it's important to be mindful of our opponent's face down, or not face down, graveyard, a Big Welcome. Because they have the Lady Lab, they can bounce a card here. It does target, so our Blue and Little Knight will be safe, but they are going to bounce the Elf. They get to draw off the Ariana, set a card, but it can't be activated this turn, which means I am good to go for Shadow Mosquito! We're going to end the game with our Shadow Mosquito, battling into the Lady Lab, placing a token on. I don't take damage. Little Knight battles, and then boom. Also, the Shadow Mosquito not targeting is very nice there. But that didn't even matter, because even if it did target, I could have just used the effect on Ariana, and that also would have been enough to go for lethal, because they were only at 700 life points, so... Okay, so yeah, that was a game where, like, I diverted hugely from the turn 1 combo line, again, because of the knowledge we saw from our opponent's hand with triple tack. Just playing around specifically what they have instead of making the regular turn 1 endboard, right? Do have one more game to show off. Let's finish with that one. And our final opponent is going to be on 60 card Snake Eye Tenpai with triple slash draw. So I'm like, okay, all right, sure. We're making the first move again here, and we opened the same type of hand all these games, didn't we? Starter plus one random sprite monster. So we're going to lead with the starter yet again for blue, blue add red, special jet, jet F, going for the smashers. I feel pretty confident in my combo line here, having cross out and triple attack in hand. We're going to once again link off into the sprite sprint. Sprint F activating, sending the nibble angler, angler F, summoning Beaver and Musasabi. We're then going to overlay into the gigantic sprite. Now that I'm remembering, I'm pretty sure this was actually the first game I played with this deck. Yeah, so we gigantic for Kit. Then we link into Elf. And yeah, you're going to see me make a mistake that I was talking about in the first game. Yeah, I activated Kit before linking into IP. So unfortunately now I can't do that with red. I can't link with red at all. And... yeah, it's pretty bad. I have to just end on, like, Airly Elf Red here. Definitely not optimal. I mean, not horrible, but not optimal, yeah. We'll just put back that Fulos with the Ferigi. Although, wait, no, shouldn't I have kept that Fulos so I could have summoned Keros here? Oh, that was another misplay I didn't even think about during the actual game itself. Because I knew I was going to search Keros, so I could have activated Keros, pitch the Fuelos to special and summon double Dragon Lords here. And then awkwardly have to end on Angler and Keros over here. But that still would have been extra body. Also, not setting Smashers. I have no idea what I was thinking during this game. I felt like I almost conceded once I realized I didn't set Smashers. Because I was a little salty. I felt like I'd thrown the game. But I was like, you know what? Whatever. There was a part of me that was like, oh, I can't show this on YouTube. I just threw my turn 1 combo line so hard. But then I had the thought, you know what? I can show this on YouTube because, I don't know, not everybody plays optimally. If you ever worry about, like, I mean, okay, obviously, here's the thing. Like, you should be mindful of misplays. You should try not to make them. But I think a lot of people take that as pressure to play perfectly, literally every single time. And I can't stress enough how, like, especially on ranked ladder, that's not a stress you should hold on to, right? I mean, even in a tournament, like, it's so easy to, in the middle of a tournament game, realize you made a misplay during your combo line and just, like, start tilting super hard in your head. But, I don't know, the thought that I've always tried to maintain when playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is... what is the best play I have given the current situation? Sometimes the current situation is that you mess up a little bit, but that shouldn't change the question of what is the best play I can make given the current situation. Yeah, that should always be what's on the forefront of your mind when playing. It's not always easy, you know, not tilting, but I mean, it's like anything else. It's a muscle, right? You just gotta flex it. You gotta work it a little bit. Practice it, work it out, and then it'll become second nature. Yeah, thankfully they only had the one Snake Eye monster for Flamberge, so they kind of just have to awkwardly go into Vert Dragoon here. Which, I mean, just given what's in my hand, this is so, like, not a problem at all. Yeah, and at this point I realized, like, oh, okay, even though I misplayed horribly, I'm actually just way far ahead anyway. Yeah, so here I'm going to use Smashers to force the Dragoon Omni-Negate. They're going to pitch their last card of Hydra. And then from there, I can just do whatever at this point. I can Starter, I can Blue, I can Jet, or Carrot rather, whatever, doesn't even matter at this point. And then, yeah, we'll triple tack, take their Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Can use the effect to pop their Vert, and they paid 2,000 for the Red Eyes Fusion, so... they're definitely within lethal range here. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I played suboptimally to the point of not even setting Sprite Smashers during my end phase. And we still ended this game by winning, with our opponent having no cards on hand or field as we lethaled them. It's like, yeah, it's really easy to feel like you screwed up horribly, irreparably, but perseverance is key, as always. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. Thank you for watching. As always, super appreciate you. Why don't we move ahead to our outro? Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.